Back at 8:22, and the exodus from City Hall continues, and Mayor Eric Adams is moving quickly to fill in the gaps.
Now, less than 24 hours after Schools Chancellor David Banks announced his retirement, Adams is expected to announce Banks' replacement at a news conference later today. So this is the fourth departure in less than 2 weeks from the administration plagued by FBI investigations. So this morning, political analyst JC Polanco is joining us to weigh in on the changes taking place at City Hall. So good morning to you, JC. Great to see you.
Good morning.
Thanks
for having me.
Heads are collectively spinning all across the city with resignation after resignation. Would you say that the Adams administration is basically at a crisis level right now?
Well, perhaps it could be seen as being in a crisis only because all of this negativity is coming in within 4 weeks. Now, it's important. I've always said to you, Hazel, and your team there at Pix 11 and your viewers, there are three courts. There's a court of law, court of politics, and the court of public opinion. In the court of law, there's no discussion about any indictment, subject, or target that the mayor is for this federal investigation. There isn't. I haven't seen it, neither has anyone else. There's been no exhibits, there's been no testimony, there have been no arrests. So we have to take a step back and understand that there's an investigation. Now, it happens that we have this massive exodus of people that are leaving. Now, is it normal for people to leave an administration? Absolutely. We see people leave from the public sector to the private sector all the time. Could you pick a worse time? Absolutely. Not now. Not now. So if I were Mayor Adams, I don't think there's been a mayor more loyal to his team than Mayor Adams, considering all of the drama we've seen in the last 3 years. He stayed loyal and faithful to his team. I would advise you, hey, if you're planning on leaving, not now. Stay with me just a little longer. Let all of this negativity go by. Let the investigation play out, because the media and many people out there are going to think that there's something going on, and that's why you're leaving. So I would tell my staff not to go anywhere, to stay put until the investigations are done, just to the appearance in the court of public opinion. And in the court of politics, forget it. Yeah. We see how many Democrats have announced their candidacies against the mayor for next year already. There will be more.
And JC, speaking of perception, does the fact that we're supposed to hear about a new schools chancellor later today indicate that perhaps the mayor knew that this was coming?
Well, I think that from his letter to the city, the chancellor says, I was going to retire at the end of the year. I mean, I think that was clear. But not at the beginning
of the school year. I mean,
December 31st.
Well, no, he didn't, but in the letter, it appears he says that he had already explained that to the mayor. But to your question, which I think is even more important, there always has to be succession plans, especially with a city of over 1 million kids in our public schools, including my own. So we need to make sure that for every level of government in this city administration, that there are succession plans. I would be incredibly disappointed, and I know your viewers would be, if somehow the chancellor told the mayor he was resigning and there was no plan. Yeah. Can you imagine? At least we have a plan, and this being announced within 24 hours after the resignation. That's a good thing, and I think we have to think positively about it.
Before we get to his successor, can I ask you this? Do you think that now possibly it would be Deputy Mayor Sheena Wright who could be next to follow suit and maybe step down, considering she is the chancellor's girlfriend, life partner?
Well, listen. Again, Hazel, listen, I understand the question. And I think, palace intrigue would say maybe, right? We're seeing a lot of people that were involved in that dreadful day that have been leaving or have announced they're leaving. So you would assume. But we got to remember another thing. We're talking about people who have dedicated decades of their lives to the city, who have had an unblemished record in the city. So I don't know whether or not it would be something that I would just jump on the bandwagon and say, yeah, she's next. I haven't seen any evidence of that. I've been involved in city politics for almost a generation. I haven't seen any evidence of Deputy Mayor Wright being involved in anything. But you would assume, considering that she happened to have been one of the people in the whole orbit of people that got things confiscated or have been visited by the FBI, that she'd be next. But quite frankly, she's the type of person I would have the mayor sit down and say, you're going nowhere. You're staying with me.
Good point.
Until this thing is over, because Hazel and her team at Pix 11 are going to jump all over me. They're going to think that something's going on. So I would advise them not to leave anywhere.
Now, JC, back to the schools here. We are hearing Melissa Aviles Ramos is set to replace Banks as chancellor. What do we know about her time at City Hall?
Well, we know that she's served for a long time with the city and also in the private sector. She's just come back to city government, someone who has an incredible amount of experience, someone who understands the Department of Education. And quite frankly, you know, us in the city, especially when you're from the Latino community, we see very little representation anywhere. Anywhere. We don't have a city of white official. We don't have a statewide official. We don't have any. We have a couple of members in Congress, if that, especially from when you're from New York. Considering our long contributions to the city, we would expect to have more folks in positions of power. I know the mayor has appointed a few. This would be a huge appointment, especially as a Latina woman, Hispanic Heritage Month, and who's eminently qualified for the position. Kudos for the mayor for thinking outside the box. I hope that this is going to be positive news. He desperately needs it.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you just real quickly, because we've run out of time. Do you think that this whole resignation is going to interfere or basically ruin the mayor's chances for re-election?
I think it will have an impact on it if it keeps dripping. But I'll tell you this, like I told your team at Pix 11, this is not the time for advice from counsel. I'm an attorney, I'm telling you, but I'm also a master at this stuff when it comes to communications. You don't want to have an advice of counsel, I won't appear on your program. We need to have the mayor's people free to speak to you and tell you, hey, there's nothing going on, but I'll tell you what is happening. We're taking care of our kids. We have migrant children that we're taking care of. We have a great year coming up. You want to be able to show a face to the city that's positive and that can convince people that there's nothing going on. So as an attorney, I hear you attorneys, and you're probably going to email me that you're mad that I'm telling your clients anything. Not my intention. But this is politics. And this is not the world of no comment. I couldn't be reached, and I have to cancel on advice of counsel. This is not the time for that. Get serious. Get on the TV and talk to the people.
All right, JC Polanco, thank you so much for your insight, as always.